Kate O'Brien was one of Ireland's foremost writers. In the 20th century, she was the leading Irish woman writer, but she quite simply broke the taboos in the first half of the century by writing about repressed relationships, specifically same-sex relationships that reflected her own troubled love life, leading to the banning of 2 of her books in Ireland, and even the Senate debate on that banning was itself censored, the only time this occurred in the Irish Senate's history.
I think that she herself is a very good example of somebody who had the courage to take on issues and themes in her time which were difficult to do, and that is inspirational for authors, because there are always taboos in our society.
Kate O'Brien wrote about middle-class Irish Catholic families at the turn of the 20th century, which books were and still are masterpieces of description. But even today, she is spoken of behind hands as that woman, Kate O'Brien.
Have you found that because you advocated a writer whose work was banned, that you offended the conservative middle-class Catholics of Limerick?
Well, I cannot honestly say that I found opposition.
Because some of her books had intensely unfulfilled sexual relationships, just as in her own life. And just as in her own life, she was tortured by intense sexual repression and the social constraints of the period.
The theme that obviously is quite strong in Kate O'Brien is gay sexuality, as we call it nowadays. I mean, I don't think that's a term she would have used, but a kind of a sexuality that's, for example, outside the norm and in terms of Catholic doctrine, transgressive.
But there are books that she has written that have very important things to say about her Ireland, about the Ireland that has passed, and about how we came to be the kind of Ireland that we are today. And
she does try to sort of, the difficulties and struggles of an individual finding their voice and their place in life, she's very clear about. And it's an exciting journey she takes her characters on.
I've heard people say, well, she doesn't really speak to the modern audience. But then if you say something as trite as that, then you're saying Jane Austen doesn't speak to the modern audience, or Proust doesn't speak to the modern audience. Good stories survive the test of time.
The stories she told were of Ireland, but told from across the sea in England and Spain, where she found Spanish republicanism more inspirational than the doctrinal Catholicism of de Valera, which she and other Irish writers escaped in the 1920s. Though she loved Spain, she fell foul of General Franco, who took exception to her writings and in 1937 banned her not to return for 20 years. She went back to Ireland and spent the post-war years partying in roundstones on the Galway coast with artists and writers. But yet died alone and penniless in England, where her simple grave in Kent is inscribed, Kate O'Brien, Irish lady.
I stand by the principle of freedom of expression for everybody, but look around you now.